Not going to be a test, just an assessment. Do we have anyone in the class today that loves taking tests? Right? Be careful. If you say yes, that you love taking tests, you might get some virtual spitballs flung at you. So if you love taking tests, how many of you are like me? Are like, so Esther just came in like, nope, there is no love. There's not even a like to it. But the good news is this is only a 5-question assessment. But the bad news is this is only a 5-question assessment. What does that mean? That means that if you miss 2, you've got a 60. Okay, now many of you are parents in here. I'm going to make that assumption. Do we have any parents in the classroom with us today? If you're a parent, just put yes or Y. All right, so we've got Maria, Esther. Okay, so here we go. Martha, all of you parents, do you remember when your kids would take tests? What did you tell them? You would shake your finger at them and say, don't you bring any bad grades into this house, right? So what I'm going to ask you to do, we've got 5 questions. All we're going to do, we're just on a scribble piece of note or on your phone somewhere, just take down these 5 because we're going to answer all 5, then we're going to come back and get the answers, okay? If you're done, I'm going to ask you, once we finish, whether you make a 0 or 100, you've got to take that paper and have your kids sign it and then post it on the refrigerator. That's going to be that little reminder for us, right? Maybe we shouldn't be so hard on our kids, especially if they're still in this virtual learning environment. So the other reason why we want to look at and consider focusing on global is the world is shrinking. Now, when I say the world is shrinking, I'm not a flat earther. I don't think that if you walk too far out into the ocean or anything, you're going to fall off the planet. I don't think that we're physically shrinking. But just with the speed of news and interconnectivity, the world is getting smaller. I don't know if any of you all lovely people are old enough to remember this far back idea of a 24-hour news cycle or a 12-hour news cycle where we would hear the same news for 24 hours, 12 hours. Now we're in a time, because of what you're seeing on the screen right now, the world has shrank so much that we are in a 20-minute or 15-second news cycle because business and news and information is spreading around the world so fast. So we want to make sure that we are prepared to compete with those and to collaborate with those all across the world. So here's one. Why do I encourage you to specialize and to work the global niche? And by the way, I say niche. You might say niche or niche or something. I say niche for a couple of reasons. Simply because I'm from Alabama and I didn't know what it was. And I don't think that with my drawl that niche is going to sound any better than niche. But then also from my mentor saying that niches bring riches. And so if you master this niche, a byproduct is more money, more money, more money. Now, you might not be in it for the income, but I found that if I'm going to do a task, if I'm going to spend time and invest my energy, my effort, and my waking hours at becoming the best at what I do, I might as well be handsomely rewarded for it. Well, Neil, how can you say that I'm going to make more money just by focusing on global buyers or sellers? The reason is that NAR stats, Florida Realtor stats, they just show us that most global buyers are purchasing at a higher median sales price than domestic buyers purchase. Remember, they're coming in with a different mindset, so they are thinking about and willing to change and leave everything they have to get here. So as they spend more money, that means that we get higher income. Now, we do want to make sure that we are operating in accordance with NAR's code of ethics. We want to make sure that we're operating inside of fair housing, all of that. But a byproduct of your specialization, much like a doctor, is higher income. We all love this idea, right, of loyalty. We love the idea of having loyalty until we're asked to be loyal. Right? And what comes as a result of loyalty with our global buyers or sellers, our international colleagues, is that they tend to refer at a higher rate. Well, what does that mean? That means that now we're working with more people that we know, like, and trust, and that we have more people that know, like, and trust us, and they're going to go and tell a friend, and you're going to exceed their expectations, and they're going to go and tell a friend, and then they're going to go and do what? And tell a friend. So that brings us to this right here. The bad news is, you all told me that I could speak to you like loving family. The bad news is, there is no yellow brick road to being the realtor of choice. Now, there's a path to follow, but it's not this clean and neat. It's not going to be where the sun is going to be coming just beautifully over the hillside as you walk, carrying a picnic basket and skipping with your friends. It's not going to happen. Now, can we, by the end of today, have a path laid out for you? Yes, we can. We will have that path laid out for you. What we can't do is we can't walk the path for you. And that is going to require some work and some commitment on your part. This is my friend Dwayne. I'm sorry. You all might know him as The Rock, but we're on a first name basis. So this is Dwayne Johnson. He just wanted me to pass you all a message that you can do it. Right, and so I just wanted to give you all a little bit of encouragement, and plus it also gives me something to aspire to. Now, I want to be clear when I say that Dwayne and I are on a first name basis. I should say I'm on a first name basis with Dwayne. He doesn't know who I am. Okay, so make sure that we're perfectly clear there. So if you all see The Rock somewhere and say, hey, do you know Neil Oates? And he gives you that look, or he gives you the people's eyebrow, I want to make sure that I clarified that I'm on a first name basis with Dwayne. He has no idea that I exist. Okay, to expand your global reach, I want each of you today to find agents in California, Texas, New York, New Jersey, and Arizona. Lorianne, absolutely correct. I want you to find agents, build relationships with California, Texas, New York, New Jersey, and even Florida realtors that are outside of your marketplace. And the way we're going to do that, we're going to just give information, give resources, and not ask for anything in return. Something right now, many of us in South Florida, we are reaching out to New York and New Jersey agents. And what are we asking for? Hey, send me your referrals, send me your referrals, send me your referrals. What if a simple spin that we did is I'm looking for a referral partner that I can send my global buyers to when they decide to purchase in New York. Now, you might say, Neil, I don't have any global buyers looking to purchase in New York right now, but you want to open up the lines of communication. Instead of asking for, you're going to say, I want to find someone that I can trust, someone that believes in the same way that I believe in doing business, so that I can send business to them, because we know that New York for the Chinese, and we're going to show some workarounds of how to get those Chinese buyers that aren't coming to Florida. How do we middleman or woman the deal to get someone that might be looking at going to New York before they find their own agent? But more important than the states themselves are going to be that number right there. 55% of global buyers purchase in these 5 states. Right, and then when we add Arizona in there, we're up around 58 to almost 59%. And so if you do nothing else for your global business than to start finding those players, those movers and shakers in other states, and say, hey, let me build a relationship with you. Let me do things a little bit differently. And I'm going to show you what that differently is here in a moment. And then that's going to open up many, many opportunities for you there. All right, so I'm going to stop my screen share, and we're going to be back in this view here, because I want to ask you all, why do people purchase in the U.S.? Why should they buy in the U.S.? If you're here, if you live in this country, if you've been born here, or if you've been here for any length of time, dare I say, you might have a little bit of a distaste for what happens and how our country operates, and we just like, but yeah, our country and our countrymen and the people who represent us is so hard, right? Like, sometimes I'm embarrassed to be a native born individual here in the U.S. But then I hear conversations from those who are born abroad, and they say, well, you don't have to love things in the U.S., just that there's no other place better than it at certain points in certain things. And so here's where we're going to look. You all should have this handout, so I'm not going to read everything right off the paper, because we're going to get to the action items. We're going to take our break here in one moment at that 2:05-ish, right? And then I'll leave you all. I'm going to make you raise your right hands and swear to read the stuff that we don't cover in class, because I want you to know how to actually do. But why buy in the U.S.? You know, the U.S. real estate is still seen as a preferred method and stable investment throughout the world. You might not like it, right? You might not like it. It's just the most stable across the world, right? With very few exceptions.